try it one more time. Brad likes to tuck.
Surprise! Josh likes to tuck.
I don't even know what
I tuck in my shirt. What are you guys talking about?
Sometimes.
I tuck in my socks.
Can you fucking believe that Josh was actually
early?
on time?
Early today.
Not early. No,
I was early.
No. I told you 1:30 and you were here at 1:40.
I told you 1:30 and you
Damn
here's
straight.
1:25.
Welcome to Uber Tales from the Crypt. I mean, don't shoot the driver.
Just shoot him. Shoot Josh.
Shoot Josh.
From the crypt. You
Even-
can't because I ain't even there.
Even though he was on time.
No, it
Exactly.
Dude,
wasn't.
when I saw him here at 1:40, I was like,
Yeah, but we said
the world is
1:30.
coming to an end. I think maybe it's the when Christ comes back. What is that?
Resurrection?
Yeah,
Apocalypse?
Something like any of those things. It could have been any number of those things. Anyway, but
Well,
it's not.
yeah.
We're still here.
We're surviving.
We're surviving.
Mm-hmm. We sure
Another
are.
beautiful day in the neighborhood of Uber Tales.
Yeah.
Another beautiful day in the valley. Boys.
And we have decided that we're telling Joshua's tale this time. Is that correct? Is that what we came up with?
Yeah.
Joshua
We'll
is
do
going
mine today.
to tell us about that fateful day.
No,
Yes.
there's no days here. It's evenings. It's
always
Oh,
night.
that
after
fateful
hours.
night.
Yeah, it's
The
as Brad likes to
witching
call them.
hour.
Brad calls them the crackhead hours.
Damn straight.
Crackhead
That's
hour.
when all the crackheads come out.
It
It's
just
true,
doesn't
though.
sound
It's
as
not wrong.
mysterious as the witching hour. The crackhead hour. That sounds like a talk show in
This
itself.
episode
The
of the
crackhead hour.
Yeah, this is the crackhead hour.
It actually kind of works.
Actually, okay, yes, it does. So there you were, the
Yeah.
crackhead hour.
Yeah, and this particular story, is it's one I call from the crypt. It's
Oh.
not necessarily one of our funny, happy ones.
Oh,
And so
Gonna
it was.
get
It was. This
legit.
was 3 a.m. Yeah, this is
Ooh, okay.
this is quite late. This was 3 in the morning. I get the ping, for a ride. It's somewhere around I want to say 10 to 12 minutes away. It's like 10 to 12 minutes of me driving just to get to the
just to get
pickup
there.
spot. And so I accepted it, and I always do that with a bit of.
is it pretty like you're waiting, and then you get one, so you just take it, or are you still
No.
picking and choosing?
No,
is there a lot of people
I
driving or
will, I
wanting
will
to drive?
I will pick and choose because there are options usually.
So there's a lot of crackheads out, is what you're saying.
Essentially. And sometimes it can be a little dry. It just depends on the day of the week, But typically I'm
Crackheads
always
tip well.
I don't
Depends on how
know.
much they got.
Yeah, I guess.
Depends on how much they're fiending.
Anyways, point is, sometimes it runs a bit dry, but typically I stay pretty busy. I don't usually stop. I'll go hours and hours and hours, just one ride after another. But in this particular case, it's super late. And I don't remember if I was having lots of rides or if it was just, it was a little dry. Either or, I accepted the ride. It was a good fare. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go. But it's like I said, 10 to 12 minutes of driving, And so for me, me personally, and maybe it's the same with Brad, when it's that far away, there's always the chance that they could cancel on you. So I'm always I accept the rides, but then I'm like, I'm not going to try and speed to it or anything like that because I know they after 3 or 4 minutes of driving towards their location, they might cancel on me, So I'm just casually making my way there. And
Making my way in the world today takes everything you got. Sorry,
Spotlight Bobby.
I went on a Cheers kick. Sorry.
And we're done. All right.
Okay,
so,
sorry.
Get it out.
Yeah.
Do you want the other verse?
Would you like a couple more now?
Norm. No.
So, anyways,
Anyway.
I'm on my way there,
Josh.
and I'm going to pick up a guy. We'll go with Ted. I'm going to pick up Ted.
Ted.
So I'm like, okay, it's a guy, and 3 a.m., whatever. And you're always you always got stories in the back of your head, like, okay, where am I going? What am I getting myself into?
Getting myself into.
I just throwing it out there. Almost every fucking ride I take at night is a question of what am I getting myself into? Because you don't know. Could be girls, could be guys. You don't know what you're getting yourself into.
So
be a
why
mix
do
of
you
both.
do
You never know.
it? Why do you do
I don't know,
the 3
because
in the morning?
I like it's like I said,
It's a
I
challenge for you? What?
He likes the mystery of everything.
yeah, maybe that, or I just like that there's
mystique.
there's no traffic Okay, there's no car, there's like little to no cars out.
Oh, that's true.
There's less cops. You know, when you drive during the day, there's cops everywhere, posted all over the freeway. Like, they're everywhere. But at night, there's just fewer, you know? And when there are
out there are cops.
When there are cops, they're like downtown, or they're in like, you know, other areas. They're not in like the suburbias, you know, and stuff. But during the day, you have a higher chance of running into them.
That Uber driver is worried about a lot of cops. What are you
trying to hide?
I'm not hiding nothing, but you can get traffic tickets, you know, if you're speeding slightly, or maybe you forget to turn on your like right turn signal and you're making a right at a stoplight, or maybe you don't
you're
stop.
A very bad driver.
That's what I got out of it. He's an asshole driver.
No, Brad, you're the asshole.
How am I the asshole? No,
anyway.
No, that's just
I'm an asshole, but I'm not an asshole driver. There's a difference there.
I don't know how it's turned into an asshole driver conversation, but I'm a good driver.
You don't signal.
I didn't say I don't signal.
Yes,
I just said maybe.
He said if it
it's
happens.
Possible.
He's
it's
just
possible.
He's just paranoid about cops. He's had some bad situations where he got beat up one time.
Like some Rocky King.
King?
This has morphed into gone down a weird rabbit hole, but I swear to you, decent driver. I've not had any issues with any cops here.
So then why did you even bring that up?
I just like that there's a less likelihood of getting a ticket.
There you go.
Okay, but
simple.
I can make the same argument that during the late hours, they're looking for suspicious activity.
Oh, that he makes a point there.
All right, good point. And guess what? I've never been pulled over, never had any trouble, so I guess I'm not suspicious. And I'm driving a white fucking SUV. Like, it's the least suspicious kind of car you can have, I would think, at night. Okay. You know?
All right, so you're on your way.
So I'm on my
12
way.
minutes, and they do not cancel.
They don't cancel. And, you know, when I get to about, like 5 minutes away from them and they haven't canceled, I'm like, okay, they're definitely not going to cancel. I'm feeling good. Yeah. Well, I'm not feeling good because I'm like, it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, where the fuck am I going?
That's like noon for you.
I'm starting to roll. It's still 3 fucking a.m. for
the rest of the world.
Okay? So I'm rolling up, and as I'm getting closer, I'm paying attention to surroundings because you're like, okay, where am I? What kind of situation is this? And I'm feeling like it's not bad because it's a commercial area. Lots of McDonald's and Burger Kings, whatever. It's just commercial, and it's well lit, and it's a nicer area. It's in the sandy area. It's nice. It's not a bad area or anything. And so I'm like, okay.
All of those things are closed, though, right?
Everything's closed. Yeah, it's 3 a.m. There's nothing open. No, there's nothing. Not even McDonald's. You might see.
Still lit up.
Depending on where you go, some
McDonald's
are 24/7.
Yeah, well, this wasn't one.
Not one of them.
Yeah, no, everything was closed. It's dead. It's a ghost town. But I'm rolling up, and I'm looking around like, okay, where the hell am I picking my person up? Because, like I said, it's commercial. I don't see no hotels.
So it's just a ping. So it takes you to wherever that person. Did that person ping themselves? So when they got the ride, did it say, yes, your phone is right here, and then it drove to you? I'm just trying to figure out how it works.
They pick where. Typically, they pick where you're going to pick them up at.
So it could be somewhere different than where they're standing at that time.
They can choose to do that, yes.
They can choose to show
However, with that, if you have your location enabled, it does show the driver where you are, and sometimes it varies depending on where the pickup location is.
Oh, so you could see where that person was?
If they have it enabled, yes.
If they have it enabled, and they didn't. I just saw the pickup area. So I'm going to the pickup spot. And as I'm driving up there, I'm looking around like, okay, where am I picking these people up? And also, where are they coming from? Because everything's closed.
Or this will be maybe my last ride because they're going to kill me.
Maybe. It could be. One resolution. Who knows when it's going to happen, boys. Anyways, so I'm rolling up, and as I'm getting there, I'm looking around, and I'm coming up to one of those electrical, I don't know, what you call those, like electrical boxes that kind of control the electricity for an area. You know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a square box, whatever.
Yep, big green thing.
Yeah, big green thing. Yeah, transform. Well, it's not a transformer.
No, it's not
more than meets the eye.
Yeah. Bobby's in a singing mood today.
I am, man.
What isn't he? He's
we
got
could just let Bobby have that microphone all to himself and just bust some notes out. So
when the song comes, you gotta go.
I'm rolling up to one of those, and I see 2 people. And so I'm like looking at them like, okay.
Standing next to it, on it, beside it, behind it.
There's one that's like leaning on it. The other one's like sitting beside it. And
like on the ground?
Like on the ground beside it. And so
yeah, this can't
I'm looking and I'm rolling up and I'm like, okay, do I see a guy? I see a guy, and I'm like, okay, that's probably Ted, the person I'm here to pick up, and there's someone else with him. I was like, okay, maybe his girlfriend, maybe something like that. I don't know. Probably could be.
Probably.
You never know.
So the other person's like getting up. I pull up right beside him, unlock my car, and I'm looking over at them, because I'm like, okay, there's one, but there's
sizing
two.
them up.
Just sizing them up. Yeah, I'm just trying to make my mind. I'm like, okay, I'm picking the guy
Should
up.
I
there
just
he
hit
is.
the gas?
And the other person I'm noticing is a girl, young female. I can tell she's a younger female. And
what does younger mean?
She's like 18, maybe.
Oh, okay.
18 or 19.
So still somewhat of an adult, but
young adult.
Young,
but still a
very,
teenager,
very
older
young.
teenager.
Yeah, maybe 18 or 19.
Okay.
20 at the max.
Okay.
Very young.
Or 12 for all you know.
No.
Okay.
I definitely 18, 19, somewhere around there. Definitely not 12.
All right. Well,
because where this story's going, that's I just want to make
okay.
sure that I'm clear. It's not a kid.
Okay.
It's 18 or 19.
It's
and
getting dark already.
The guy that I'm picking up is his name Ted. And I see him. It's a white guy, probably late 40s to mid 50s.
I love it that I don't have to ask this question anymore.
Yeah. So yeah,
and
yep, and he opens up the back door, and he's like starting to just kind of like pile in, not aggressively, but just like kind of force a bunch of shit into the car, like bags,
stuff,
and just stuff. Yeah, bad. Like one's like a grocery sack, and
weird.
Yeah, weird, and like exactly, and like a jacket, and I'm like, okay, he's like putting shit into the back seats. And I'm looking at the guy, again, he's white.
You say 40s?
Late 40s to mid 50s.
Whoa.
And the girl is she's African American. She's 18, 19. And I also want to point out that I didn't know if she was wearing bottoms, because when I looked over, what the hell is this guy doing? I look, and he's telling her, get in the car. And she's wobbly. I'm assuming, okay, the girl's drunk. I look at her legs, and I don't see any bottoms. I just see pure legs. So I'm like, she's in her underwear, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And she's got fishnets, stockings on. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? This is a weird duo. This is something strange. And so he's loading all that shit in, and she's getting into the car, and he comes over to the driver's side window, to which I roll down, and he's like, hey, you know where you're going? Do you know where you're going, buddy? And I was like, I clicked on the thing, pulled up the directions. I was like, I'm going to blah, 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 and on this street. And he's like, all right, great. And he just walks off. And I'm looking at him walk off, and he's walking towards a way out in the distance. There's a parking garage, and he's walking towards the parking garage. And so I've got this girl in my car.
Hell?
I know. And again, not wearing bottoms as far as I can tell. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And so I turn around and I say, well, hi, I'm Josh. And I said, what's your name? And we'll go with what's a good name, boys? Jasmine. She's like,
I was thinking Deja.
She's like, yeah, she's like, hi, my name's Jasmine. So and at this point, I'm looking at her just like, are you okay? Because she was kind of a little tipsy getting in. At this point, I noticed, she's got on fishnet stockings, and she does have bottoms on, but what she's wearing is so, I don't know how to describe it, short or tight, that it literally looks almost like
nothing.
Like nothing. It's so much like leg and thigh. And she's got on these little pink heels. And I'm looking at her, and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to kind of get a picture, an idea. Together. I'm starting to piece some stuff together. I'm like, okay, And so, off we go. And, I'm driving, and I said, you know where we're going, right? And she's like, I think so. And I was like, okay, well, we're going. And I read the description. She says nothing, and I was like, okay, I hope she knows where we're going. Because remember, it was a guy named Ted that ordered it. The ride. Right. So I'm like, I want to make sure she knows where we're going, and I'm not taking her to some weird bad place or situation or something, because you never know what the fuck's going on.
Right.
And I don't either. And so I ask her, because I'm curious. I'm like, so
what are you doing at 3 a.m. going to a place you don't know?
Yeah, well, essentially that's pretty much the gist of it. I just asked her.
You said it straight out.
No, I asked her. I said, are you doing okay? Is everything all right? And she's like, I'm fine. And I was like, what's the deal with Ted? And so first of all, she tells me his name's not Ted, and so I was like, okay. And then I said, who is he? And she's like, oh, he's just a friend. And I was like,
he's just my pimp.
Maybe.
Potentially.
But she's like, just a friend. And so I'm like, oh. I was like, how'd you meet him? Because I'm like,
dude,
what the fuck
is this? Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we run the show, right?
That's right. You're driving. So, you're driving the car.
Yeah, and
you get to ask the questions.
It's a bit of a drive too. It's like 15 minutes from there. So which is why I accepted the fare in the first place, because it was a good fare. So, but it's a bit of a drive. So I was like, how'd you meet him? Like, how do you know Ted? Because I'm looking at him like, it's like a 55-year-old white guy. You look like you're 17, 18, 19. You look like a kid.
Did you say that?
No, Bob. I'm
thinking that in my head. Okay, I'm like, okay.
You're with an old white guy and you look like a kid and you're black. What the fuck are you thinking, Bobby? No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say
but
that.
I'm thinking it because I'm like, what's the connection here?
What's wrong? What?
This doesn't make any sense.
Nothing's saying that you couldn't have said it. There's nothing wrong with saying
but nothing makes sense with that kind of relationship. And also the way
he was
just
trying
like
to not
tossing.
scare her away, because if he'd have gotten too cop
he doesn't care about that.
No, I don't give a shit about that. And the way he was like shoving her shit in, it was really kind of like one of those, take the shit, get the fuck out of my life, clean my hands of you. I don't want.
I'm done.
I'm
See
done.
you later.
See you later. It was very much like that.
That's kind of what I got out of it.
That is 100% the impression I got too. Was just getting her shit in there. He's telling her like, get in the car. He's like, get in. Yep. He's like got the door open. He's like, he's not forcing her in, but he's like trying to aggressively.
He just seems kind of like a turd, like a douche.
He's just not even a douche. It's more of just like, the way I interpret it was like, I've done what I wanted to do.
Oh, I see.
Clean my hands.
I get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Go to the next place.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know, by the way, and this is a bit of a rare one for me, but I know where I'm going. I was like, I know this area. Like, I know the general area, this street. I know what's on it, and I'm like, this is not like a good area. That's why I was like, I don't want to be
houses.
No, this area, there's no houses. I know exactly. I was like, there's no houses. There's like there's a 7-Eleven, and I know this area because there's a lot of homeless people there and drifters. And so I was like, okay, this is like, it's weird, because there's no houses, there's no apartments, there's no living quarters, so to speak, there. So I was like, I'm going to be dropping her off at like a gas station or on the side of a road, because I know this street, this area I'm taking her to. That's why I asked her. I was like, do you know where we're going?
Was she pretty? Was she a pretty girl?
She's too young, to be honest. I couldn't even tell you. I just look like a kid to me.
Yeah, but
look like an 18, 17-year-old kid.
Okay.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because you just,
I swear, God's my witness. I swear to you, I had no even, like, I have no problem looking at a girl. I'm like, oh, she's very beautiful, or she's not. This, I don't know. I just like,
you knew that you understood the situation.
It looked like a kid. It just looked like a kid to me. It looked like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, possibly 17, kid. And so, we're driving, and I'm asking her, like, how'd you meet him? And, immediately when she's talking, like, at first, she's like, my name's Jasmine. And I can tell she's a little out of it, whatever. The more we're talking, the more I'm like, okay, she's not only, like, drunk, like, has alcohol, she's got drugs in her system, because she's, like, some of the shit she's saying is, like, kind of incoherent. It's all over the place. It's not, like, structured. She's not in her right mind. And so she's warbling, and then she's like, I know him through a friend, and through a friend of a friend, and his friend likes me, and I know his friend, and he's a really nice black gentleman. And I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to piece together a story, and as far as I could tell, and this is through a lot of incoherent, just like garbly gook bullshit, talking here, talking there, like, crackheady stuff. Not that I want to call her a crackhead, but
no, I know what you mean.
It's kind of like the boot fits. Well, she was definitely on some drugs, high-level drugs, probably cocaine, if I had to guess. And she was nodding off at varying points too, like like nodding off. And something I've learned more about since picking up more and more people But as far as I could tell, the story was this mutual friend of the white guy, Ted, even though his name wasn't Ted, was a black gentleman who has some dealings or met her. He doesn't live there. He's from Arizona. He either saw her, met her somehow. I never got clarification how he met her, but he met her, liked her, and they came to wherever she does her thing at, like I'm assuming like prostitution, and invited her to spend the evening, like the day with them. And so they picked her up around like lunch, and they took her to Park City, and they did all these different things with her. I'm assuming the black gentleman and the white guy, we'll just call Ted, because I never even got his like actual name. So him and his buddy and that white guy, Ted's wife or girlfriend, something, girlfriend,
whatever
wife, whatever it was. They all three of them, including her, so four, were in Park City doing whatever they're doing, for the evening, partying and drugs and who knows what. And so she was telling me that, she, again, through a lot of warbling and just crazy druggy talk, she's like, it was a bad situation. I was in a really bad place, and I told him, like, we got to stop, and, I need to leave, and, you got to get me an Uber. You need to get me a ride out of here. And so the black gentleman ended up getting her a ride because I guess the white guy and his girl were maybe getting too aggressive with her or something, and the Ted guy's girl, I guess, really didn't like her, and so I guess it was turning into like a really
awkward situation.
Not just awkward, but I think dangerous, where they're doing weird things with each other, and it was getting dangerous or something. I don't know. And so I'm just like, wow, fuck me,
figuring this out.
Yeah, I'm just trying to piece it together. I'm like, fuck, this sounds terrible. Horrible. This sounds really horrible, And as we're driving, I said to her when she's like, I was begging him, like the black gentleman, just get me a ride, just get me out of here, please get me out of here. And I told her, I said, why didn't you just pull out your phone? I said, you didn't have anyone to call? You didn't? She's like, I don't have a phone. And I was like, you don't have a phone? You don't have a cell phone? She's like, I don't have a phone. I don't own a phone. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, this is... And so I was like, how do you live without a phone? I was like, I don't even see payphones. In my head, I'm like, how do you live without a phone? Like, what do you do? So I'm like, this is all types of rough. And then there's other things that start kind of spinning in my mind next. As I'm driving her, she at some point she's out. Like, she just completely
passes out.
She passes out. Yeah. And when I say pass out, I mean I saw her, like, she never put her seatbelt on, which is fine, whatever. If I did get pulled over, which I'm a good driver, I don't. But if I did,
she would get the
ticket. I wouldn't. So, I'm like, you don't want to wear a seatbelt? Fine, But she's not wearing a seatbelt, and she's like asleep in my car. Like, she's like laying on the back seats. Yeah, on the back, like completely flat, feet up. Like, and that's how I noticed like the heels and stuff. She's wearing these like little pink heels because she was like straight up asleep. And so I'm like, oh dang, did she just fall asleep? And so I turned the music down, and what did we? Jasmine, right? I was like, Jasmine, and I yell loud, she's out. I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. No dice. Yeah, I yelled, and she's out. Nothing. Just snoozing.
Passed out.
So I'm thinking now at this point, I'm like, okay, it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, I smell smoke, but the house isn't quite on fire yet. You
don't see the flames.
Yeah, I'm not quite in the emergency.
Smell smoke, but you don't see the flames.
Yeah, I'm not quite in the emergency situation because I was like, I still have like 10 minutes of this ride left, or 8 minutes, whatever. I still have a while.
For her to sober up?
For her to, well, hopefully wake up, But I was like,
10-minute power nap.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do when I get to her location? Because I'm not going to touch her. I can't touch her to like nudge her to wake her up. I can't do that. So I'm like, well, shit, this is a bad situation.
Dude, I got to know now. What do you do?
So yeah, at this point she's snoozing.
So I don't know what happens next, but you said you can't touch her.
No.
You can't
No, I'm
wake
not going to
somebody
touch.
up?
No, I'm not going to touch her.
You can't say, "Hey, are
Well,
you
you
okay?"
can, but you
I mean, if
shouldn't,
the person needs CPR because their heart stopped, you're just gonna
that's different.
let them
That's
sit
different,
there.
but that's different. If she's like, I would be like, "Oh shit, I need to call an ambulance."
Yeah,
that's not. She was just sleeping. I could tell she's out.
Okay.
She's snoozing.
Right.
It is 3 a.m.
Is
She's on a lot of drugs and
that is
alcohol.
your rule, or is that Uber's rule?
I think
That's
that
your
should
rule.
be any man's rule.
Okay, all
Don't
right.
go touching any, especially a girl. She's falling asleep. She's on drugs. I don't
So
want
if
her.
it was a dude that was passed out there, would you shake him up?
Honestly, I wouldn't.
Okay.
And I've never
All
had
right.
a.
I
and
just wanted to
I will
know
point,
where the
I will
the
point
line
this
is.
out.
Yeah.
I will point this out. You know, as we're driving, she kept saying to me, she's like, "You're such a gentleman." She kept saying this. She's like, "You're such a good guy. You're such a nice guy." She's like, "You're such a gentleman." You know, and this is what she's saying before she falls asleep. And so I'm like, "Oh fuck me, this is a bad, weird situation." And I'm not gonna touch her. I'm not gonna like nudge her to wake her up. If she's not awake, when we get to her destination, I'll figure out something else to do.
honk the horn.
Really honk a horn, or I'll do I'll figure something out. I'll call Uber and be like, "Hey, someone's passed out in my car," or what do I do? Or I'll, I'm not gonna call the police.
You
but,
could start driving real.
I'll tell you guys what
erratic.
Brad knows. I mean, if he remembers the story, but I will tell you what I did do. So we're driving, and as we're driving, I'm thinking to myself, okay, a couple things are going through my mind. One, no doubt in my mind, she was doing some kind of prostitution. I have no doubt. I mean, she is literally, and even like, I was expecting you to be like, what was her top? What was this? I was expecting you to say all that. But, she was wearing that kind of skirt, the fishnet, the heels. Her top was, she had, there was
Midriff?
a jacket, but it was, her
midriff.
stomach's exposed. You can see her belly button. She is literally the
Epitome
typified
of
image of a
prostitute.
basically a prostitute, a harlot. Yes, she's
a harlot.
yeah. When you think
That's an
of,
interesting word.
That is.
well, it might, that
Prostitute.
might be, it might be
Hooker.
archaic, but yeah, I say that word a lot because I don't want to just call them like a hooker or a whore, whatever people say. But a harlot, essentially a prostitute, and
there you go.
she is
Brad, you've learned something.
She's very much the image
did.
of it, and I'm like, okay, these guys have ordered an Uber for her. She has no cell phone. She's currently passed out. She could literally, if I were an evil or wicked man, she could literally wake
Disappear.
up in a fucking desert dead.
Yeah.
And she clearly has no family.
She wouldn't wake up dead, but okay.
Well, she would wake up in the middle of a desert and then be dead. Like, then the guy, whoever's going to
The
rape and
elements.
kill her.
Oh, absolutely.
Point is, I'm thinking to myself, this poor human being is in such a precarious situation right now. She has no clue. She's drugged out of her mind. She's full of alcohol, full of no doubt
Whatever.
drugs.
Yeah.
Whatever. It could be meth, crack, cocaine, whatever. She's got no cell phone. The dudes that ordered the ride are just, they don't want nothing to do with her. We don't know who that is, because obviously they were doing illicit things with her, not only drugs, but sex.
Who knows what else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, paying her money, for prostitution stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, like, my God, what if someone else, like a Ted Bundy style person, like picked her up? She's fucking donezo.
It happens, and that would.
I don't know, but
how
that's
it
what I'm
happens.
thinking, and I'm looking at her just like past, like she's out. And again, a couple times I'll turn the music down, be like, Jasmine, nothing. I'm like, fuck, like she's definitely out. So I'm rolling up to her, her drop off point, and I know the area. It's a 7-Eleven. There's a lot of homeless people there. There's a lot of drifters there too. They have nowhere to go. There's nothing in this area. It's literally a 7-Eleven, and there's streets and construction and dirt roads. Like, there's just nothing else there. I mean, there's train tracks too. Like, you have to go a bit before you even get to a place where there's apartments. And so
classic, not great neighborhood.
I'm thinking to myself, like, it's not even a neighborhood. There's nothing there. I'm just like, what the. I'm literally just dropping her off at 7-Eleven, 3 a.m. with a bunch of homeless people everywhere, by the way, when I'm getting up there. And these drifters and homeless people looking at me like, who's this? And I'm just like sitting there like, okay. And she's still passed out. But as we're driving up to that area, it's kind of like there's a big ass, like a dip and then an incline. And so I was like, well, I know I'm going to have to wake her up because I know I'm going to hit this dip and it's going to shake. And Brad knows. I told him, I was like, dude, I didn't know what else to do. So I was like, fuck it. I'm hitting the dip because I know it's going to slosh her around in the back really hard. And so I hit that dip and the back end waves, and of course she's like, she kind of stirs and like looks around, and then she's slowly falling back asleep. I was like, Jasmine, we're here, before she can fully pass out. And she's like, so we pull up there at the 7-Eleven, and just I'm parked like right dead center,
of the 7-Eleven.
Of the 7-Eleven, I did not pull into a parking spot.
Pull into a
no,
parking spot.
I do not. No, I'm pulled up just right. Again, homeless drifters.
At this point, it's like 3:30 in the morning now.
It's probably around 3:30. Yeah, it's like around there. Not a safe area, not in the slightest.
And she's like an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, wearing
fishnets.
What she's wearing,
typical prostitute.
Very much
garb.
Very much. Yeah.
Wow.
Even to the point, like I said, the bottoms when she was getting out, I was like, is she even wearing clothes? I was like, oh my god, she's not wearing any bottoms. She's just in her underwear. Because it was so high up, the stuff that she was wearing, you could not tell. Yeah. You couldn't tell in the slightest. So I'm like, oh god. And this is probably the saddest part. This is, again, there's a lot of stuff that I'm thinking in my head. Again, as I was driving, I was like, she is like, you could kill her. You could do any, like, no one would know. Like, who? I don't even know if her real name's Jasmine. Do these guys even know? Would anyone even care? Like, who is this poor human? And I'm thinking to myself, my god, I felt bad. She's slowly coming to, and she's like, oh, okay. She's like, let me get my stuff, and she's slowly putting her stuff together, and she's like, she's like, your car is so comfortable. She's like, I could just stay with you the whole night. I really could. And in my head, I was like, I don't know. I felt so sad. I realized something when she was saying that. It's not that my car's comfortable. It's not. It's that she felt comfortable.
Comfortable and safe.
Yeah. She felt safe. And I was like, in my head, was she saying that? I'm like, my God, what is this girl's life like to the point that she doesn't, wherever she's going, whatever she's doing, she's like, I'm not even safe where I'm going. I'd rather be in this car with this stranger. I feel much more comfortable and safe with him than wherever she's going. And so that is in my head too. And I'm like, oh man, this is so terrible. And again, kid, this is some little skinny, just little girl, is what I'm seeing. It's like a 17, 18, 19-year-old girl. And so, obviously I feel really sad. And you think to yourself, like, do they have no mom, no dad, no big brother, no big sister, no one to guide them, no one to talk to them, help them, like tell them, hey, don't do this with your life. You could die easily. Anyone could kill you, like literally kill you.
And nobody would know. Or
you have no cell phone. If you don't have a cell phone, I highly doubt you're concealed carrying a firearm. You have no means of protection. You're dressed the way you're dressed. Like, there's terrible people everywhere here. You were just with terrible people. Like, there's so many things that were going through my mind. And she's slowly moving, and she gets out. I mean, after like 6 minutes, like, I didn't say anything to her. It literally like 6 minutes. I'm literally just sitting there with the thing running, just letting her take her time to grab her little bags and whatever. And I see her get out, and she's like 5'1" maybe.
Oh, wow.
She's very small.
Sure, yeah.
Little thing. Yeah, just tiny little girl, little pink heels on, and I'm like, God, this is just like some kid, just. Anyways, I'm like, this is terrible. So she gets out, and I finish the ride, and I see her with her little heels, and she starts like walking with her bags, and it's dark, mind you. The 7-Eleven's lit up, but everything else,
like I said, closed. Yeah. Is the 7-Eleven closed?
No, it's open.
Okay,
it's
open.
open.
So stay open 24 hours.
Yeah, okay. It's open, but everything else is dark. It's like dirt fields, and you go way down. There's some construction past the railroad, tracks, and I'm just like, where is she going? Like, where is she gonna go?
Right.
Because you're looking around like, I'm thinking myself, if I got out here, first of all, I'm a guy, 200 plus pounds, and not like a badass or anything, but I have no problem throwing down if someone's gonna mess with me.
Right.
Not a problem in the world. I'll 100% do it. And I'm looking at her like, you're just a little spit of nothing. Like, where are you going? And Jesus Christ,
right.
Look at all there's tons of people here, homeless and just rough ass looking people, with like fucking tattoos all over the face.
Oh,
they're all over there. It's a big congregation area for them, and they yell at each other, and they're it's just like that, homeless and
like an encampment, so to speak.
It kind of like that, and so that's what that 7-Eleven area is at that hour of the day. And yeah, so this like I said, it's not a happy story, but it's one that kind of opens your eyes.
Well, it's a reality of what really happens, late at night, and it is sad. I mean,
not just even late at night. This is just people's lives.
Well, yes.
And like we've said in the show, you have this small little snippet with another human being where you get to kind of peek in through a window, and see something that you're not either accustomed to, or you just never think about, or ever witness.
Not your world at all.
It's not your world at all, not in the slightest.
Yeah.
And you get, and to go back, like, again, where she was like, your car is so comfortable. Like, I knew, like, in my heart, I was like, it's not that, because there's no pillow, there's no blanket, it's just hard, it's just seats.
It's comfort because it was the energy in that car,
I guess, because it was because she felt safe. She felt safe, and
wow,
it's like I can safely lay my head here and not be
not have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
So you watched her go into the darkness?
No, I had to get the hell out of there because, like I said, there's people screaming. There's it's just fucking people yelling because I'm in a car and they're almost, I don't know. I'm like, okay, I got to go.
It's like a zombie movie. They're banging on his windows.
Bobby,
brains.
It feels. I'm so serious. You be rolling down North Temple Street. It is no different than like a zombie apocalypse. There are people just screaming, walking around, mummified. People running and hiding behind pillars from you. Like it's some gnarly. I've seen some gnarly stuff driving late.
They do have a camera in that area. I do know that. The police made sure to put one there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So is there? Do you wish you could have done something different? Is there anything you? I know. I don't know.
Do what?
What would you have done, Brad?
Well, I mean, in that situation, there's really not much to do. I mean, it's just try to help and comfort them as much as you can. I mean, if you try to give them anything, then they're wanting more. So it's a hard situation to be in. But I mean, I think
it's not even giving them stuff. Like, what will you do? Like, would you rather go to a homeless shelter?
You could have taken her home, and it could have been like
Bobby.
It could have been like
bless your heart,
Bobby.
What is that movie?
But you don't.
Pretty Woman. It could be like Pretty Woman.
It's not a lost puppy. It's a girl on a lot of drugs and alcohol who's clearly been doing prostitution. If you're like, hey, you want to come to my home at my age, a guy like me? What do you think,
bad.
Bobby?
Yeah, that's probably bad.
And then the cop does pull me over, and it's like, who's this? Jasmine. Where are you going?
I'm helping
to my
her
home?
out.
I'm helping her.
She's comfortable with me. She's safe with me.
Bobby, bless your heart, Bobby.
It's sad. It's sad that there's nothing we can do. And I mean, you guys see everything. You see every kind of human there is. It seems like after doing the shows for the few times that we've done it, it just seems like you guys really see humanity.
Oh, you really do.
All over the place, and it's not all good.
No, it's not.
I mean, this may sound inhumane, but I'm more than willing to always help somebody if they ask for help. But in situations like this, most of the time, they don't ask for help, and you don't know how to help them, so there's nothing to do.
You can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, exactly what Brad's saying. So that's my tale, guys. And it's
Jasmine,
not a happy one.
If you're out there, we wish you the best.
Yeah.
Wow, heavy show, Josh.
Right?
It wasn't supposed to be that heavy, but it's.
Well, it is.
It is.
I'm super freaking depressed now. I'm gonna have to listen to some of our funnier shows.
just sing some
Joshua.
tunes. The sun will come
out
out tomorrow.
I was so happy to start the show and have some fun, and now all I can see is this poor little girl walking into the darkness, into the evil. It's like Jaws or something.
The Jaws of life.
There you go. The
yeah,
Jaws
and
of
I
life.
know we all make our own choices and stuff, but gosh, that's just sad.
Yeah, it's like you said. We all come. We come from different.
We do.
Economical backgrounds. I just. I feel like to piggyback off what Brad said. The best you can do is offer him comfort and try to give him advice. And there's people I've been like, hey, there's better ways of doing things. I've said that. I've picked up prostitute girls. Where the guy comes out, it's always an older guy. I've never seen a younger guy. You can see him, and you're like, oh shit, okay, it's one of those situations, and you just try to give him better. Like, I feel like because I have little sisters, it's like I go in like Big Brother mode, and I try to give them advice like as if it was like my sisters are so far from anything like that, nowhere even in the spectrum. But
you still feel like a big brother giving advice.
Essentially, and even though your heart's in the right place to like try and invite them, like, hey, I could give you.
It would just.
It doesn't.
It wouldn't help them probably, and
it doesn't
really
work, and
probably hurt you.
Even it could possibly hurt you, but even then, if you do that, they in their mind are so used to a particular type of situation that they're like,
advantage of.
Exactly.
What do I have to give you? What do I have to do?
Yeah.
And then and then go further than that, then it can turn into I need them to leave now, and you don't want to do, and it's just weird, Bobby. It's like you got the good heart, but
it sucks, man.
That's why I try to get part of programs and stuff that help. Like I do personally, like I know certain programs for like homeless people and different things. I can like, hey, you can go here into this.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of resources around us for people to get the help they need, and there's always they're full, but there's always more than accommodating things that can be done if you're in a pinch or in a need. Like
when I was doing that the feeding the homeless thing I was telling you guys about, I've recommended people to go there that were like, I don't have food, blah blah blah. I've told them like, well, I do this, feeding homeless people thing. We have like, works we do and stuff. And
St. Vincent de Paul, that's kind of where a lot of the homeless is too. They hang out there. They do like free meals there as well. So
yeah, I would have recommended it if I knew it at the time, but also that area at that night is super dangerous. Like even as a grown ass man with a gun, it's still dangerous. It's that area is very dangerous, and I would never. Yeah. So
well, what do you guys think? Do we?
Brad's got hopefully a delight to make a.
No, I don't have a delight. Sadly.
Do you have a gripe?
I do have a gripe.
Oh, okay.
Because Brad's an asshole.
Absolutely. No, this is actually a good.
This is on them.
This is totally on them. My gripe is when parents bring their children into an Uber and do not have a car seat. It kind of ties in, I think, a little bit with this episode, but take care of your children.
I don't know.
She needed a car seat?
Apparently, she's what, 17? No, but maybe. I mean, it's taking care of people.
Get in a damn car seat, 17-year-old girl.
Making sure that people are taken care of.
Yeah.
To me, like, a child is so sweet and innocent. They don't know any better, and they're relying on you. What sort of example are you setting if you can't even get them in a car seat? God forbid something were to happen.
Do you not let them ride?
No, I will refuse the ride.
Yep.
And you can tell them nope. If they don't have a car seat, you can tell them nope.
Yeah.
Because legally they have to put the kid in the car seat. So
and if anything were to happen, it's on me. So liability aside, the fact that you're even willing to put a kid in your car without a car seat is just wrong to me, because you can't control other people's actions. What happens if somebody runs a red light and T-bones you?
I didn't have a car seat when I was a kid. I lived.
Times have changed.
Times have
wasn't
changed.
as busy
Bobby,
back then.
don't age yourself now.
So yeah,
no,
I mean that's my
thought
gripe.
I'd throw that out there, see how you guys react to it.
Yeah,
it was
I get
pretty classic. Yeah, that's interesting. What about you? You got a delight?
Gripe? I don't know. I've depressed myself with the
we're
all slugging through this.
We'll save it for the next episode.
Yeah, we'll save it for the next episode.
Folks,
but yeah,
I think we've had enough of Uber Tales for
the day. Depression for the day.
No, it's this is important though.
Lay giving us a sob story.
You know what's funny is that we're just talking about it, and we're boo-hoo, we're depressed. There's people fucking living it. Mm-hmm. Let's be honest. Let's get off our, off our shit and get back to reality. There's people living it.
There is.
We're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Nice, comfy, sick-ass studio we're sitting in,
Yeah, that's right.
And there's people living this way every single day.
Yeah.
We're just talking,
That's true.
And so this is just a story for people who don't ever see that side of life and don't ever think about it.
Yeah, and it is good for us to hear that. It's good for us to hear
it's a dose
that's
of reality.
Real. It's not just movies and stuff. It's real life.
We see this shit. This is part of. We talked about this podcast also being about culture and human interaction and just
absolutely, and that's what this
human
is.
nature. That's what this is. You're seeing a different side of reality, and hopefully, the people out there, they can have some laughs, but they can also get a little, hey, oh shit, I didn't realize this. I never think about this type of stuff. Well, this is stuff we see because this is stuff that we deal with as drivers,
Well, cool. I think it's been a good show. I think it's been a good show to just, hear the other side. It's not just all fun and games. You guys do see a lot of interesting stuff about the human condition.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's pretty cool, and I think interesting and engaging. But we just need more listeners now to kind of hear and listen to that. So, if all of you guys out there, if you have any questions or concerns, or you want to just give us your feedback, ubertalespodcast@gmail.com. Is that correct, Brad?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
ubertalespodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to
drop us a line.
Tell us what you're thinking. Any input, any insight.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's it's been a show, right, guys?
Yeah,
it has.
Yeah.
And it's been an interesting one. We will see you next time for Uber Tales.
Breaking out the lungs.
Shoot the drive.